possible themes for this novel, how do the plot or the characters establish and support these themes?
I said for a theme I did love and sacrifice. Sam makes many sacrifices for Max because he loves him. He has to go to a new school. He spends a lot of money on Sam. And I don't know, I think he just gives up a bunch of things for Sam just because he loves him. And I think that's just a good theme throughout the book, that if you truly love someone, you'll like do anything for them. And on page 92, I think at the end of the book, like it may seem that like that's not giving, like when he gave him up, like that, I think that's even an example of that he sacrificed for him, because I'm sure he wanted Max, but I think he just knew that he just could not do that. So I think he was doing what was best for him again.
What I thought the theme was men as parents and the stereotypes they have to deal with, just because throughout the whole book, he's constantly reminded that like other women are like, oh, you're not doing this right or that right, there's one I'm saying is for chapter 4, page 25, when he's in the baby room, like getting all this stuff, and then they're saying, no, he might have an infection or whatever, and he's thinking to himself like, I can handle this, or he's like trying to do the best with what he can, and that's what I feel like this book is telling, just because men have it hard as single parents, and that really shows, just because from the start to the finish, it's always like reinvention, like over and over again, especially in the hospital, in the mall, and stuff. So
I agree that the book is possible theme of the book is a sacrifice, because like how his main plan, like when having Max, it was like to go and not go to college and become a construction worker. So he basically sacrificed like his whole adult life for Max. But I have a question about that. Could you see him giving up Max for adoption be a sacrifice for Sam? Because he obviously like did love him, and like he did what was best for him and stuff.
To go off what your question said, I wrote like off my theme, if you love something, set it free. If it's truly meant to be, it'll come back to you. And that kind of happened there when he finally gave up Max for adoption, and then Max came back to him, so it came back into his life.
That was gold, dude.
I had the same theme as Zach. I said it was the role of men in the book, and like I talked about how in the book Sam's father is like not really super emotional. He's like distant. He's like the typical stereotypical father that like only takes you fishing and stuff like that. And then like the other men in the book, Sam, he seems like a good father, but like Claire's boyfriend like doesn't show up often to hang out with his daughter, and like the other teen moms at the school, they don't really talk about their boyfriends or like the role the boyfriend's playing. So like overall, it talked about the roles of the men, but like I don't know if it was really positive, because Max, the only male at that alternative school with the baby, ends up giving up the baby. So like it's kind of still saying, oh, single father can't really do it as well as a single mother could, because Claire was single and she still found a way. So like, do you think the book is showing men in a positive light or a negative light based on like Sam, like the other men in the book?
I think it's showing in a positive light, just because like it shows him, he chose to keep the baby when Brittany didn't want to. So I think that shows that men can step up and be that good parent, even over the woman, just because Brittany didn't want to do that.
I thought it was kind of both negative and positive. I think like at the party at Andy's house, it was kind of negative, and it like the boys went right and started drinking and watching TV while the girls are like in the kitchen, and I just kind of felt like the boys weren't like watching the babies, like they can't do that, like that was negative. But then like positive is that like Sam is like trying his best and like took the baby, and like I don't know, so I feel like there was a little bit of both, but mainly I felt like it was more negative than positive.
I wrote that the theme that I wrote was know your limits. Sam was just way too overwhelmed with trying to balance Max, school, friends, girls, and all that. He was trying, like on page 195, he said, I've been trying my best, but it was just past his own personal limits, and
Yeah, similar to that, the theme that I wrote down was facing reality. So kind of the same way, throughout the book, he's struggling to get by. He's got so much stuff going on in his life. And just like we talked about in chapter 8, where he had to give up Max for adoption, I think he just had to face reality that it wasn't gonna work, and it wasn't working, and he had too much stuff going on. And sometimes, even though it's tough, you just have to face reality.
I also wrote that the theme was facing reality, and a couple examples I had for that was at the beginning, or not the beginning, when there was a flashback to when Sam offered to take Max when Brittany wanted to give him up for adoption because he knows that he's a parent now, and that's like not something that's going to change, and he kind of just like faces reality there. And then also when he does decide to give him up for adoption on page 192, he just realizes that he can't do it anymore, and the reality of it is that Max may have a better life not with him.
Do you guys think that it's like that he can't do it anymore, or that he just like thought he had enough and that he shouldn't do it anymore?
I thought it was more that he can't do it anymore because he had been struggling to take care of Max to begin with. And then that incident happened with the wine glass kind of just tipped him over the edge and was like, I need to think of something better to do with my son and figure something out. But I also said my theme was on love and sacrifice. But you know how since Max was given up for adoption, how do you think the theme would change if he didn't give him up? Like, what do you guys think from people who said that? Like, what do you think the theme would change to, or what the book's meaning changed if he ended up not giving Max up?
I think. Okay. I think that if he didn't give up Max, then like it would be like more of like the never give up kind of a theme because of all the struggles he went through. He never gave up and then kept going.
I agree. So for my theme, I did always follow your heart, and it's kind of like random, but I thought of it because I felt like maybe if he had that feeling, it wasn't gonna work out with Max like from the beginning, and he like followed his heart right away. He wouldn't have had like all this struggle, and the baby would have just been gone right away, and he wouldn't have gotten attached. And I just felt like follow your heart, and when he finally did that, like he got what he wanted. He got a job and like children later on.
Well, to go along with that, I mean, he was. Never mind, I don't want to go with this. Thought I had something.
Okay, so this is like more of a different sort of question, but do you think that he would be, or he is, a better father, like to his 2 kids in the future, based on the experiences with Max?
100%.
Yeah, I definitely think he would have been a better father. Just going through that as a teen parent, I mean, first of all, you pick up some stuff just from raising a kid already, but also just the fact that he was a teen parent dealing with all that stuff also added on.
Yeah, and like he's not alone. Like he has his wife, like to help him, and I feel like he'll have like a new confidence that he didn't have before with Max.
Okay, I remember what I was gonna say. So when you said follow your heart, I was saying what I was gonna say is like he decided to keep Max just because like if he had just let him go in the first place and never actually decided to, like what Brittany was saying, I was gonna put him up for adoption. Like if he didn't take Max, I think a part of him would always feel like that what if. But like now that he's gone through it, he's like, I've tried. I can't say I just gave up on him. And so I mean, I really shows that he tried, like he followed his heart, but it's just like he didn't.
Yeah, I see that too. I just felt like if he didn't keep him for like that chunk of time, he would have like.
I think it was a struggle he needed to experience.
Yeah, but I just feel like he wouldn't. I don't know, because for some parents it's just easier if they don't get attached right away, and then some other people are gonna be like, what if? So I think it also like depends, because like Brittany, you know, like she didn't want anything really to do with it, but then Sam went through like a long time like caring for her, and like he'll always remember that time.
Yeah, but he would have gotten to like a huge, like it would go on for like it would probably be one of his biggest regrets.
Yeah.
It's like I never got to try to be with my own son. So I mean, like
Yeah, I feel like it could.
that would have affected him like with his future wife. Probably he would have been like, I don't know if I could actually have a kid.
Yeah.
So
I have another question. Do you think Max would have been better off staying with Sam, or do you think he's better off with whoever adopted him?
I think it depends on what you mean by better. I mean, Max, like, By better, what do you mean? Just happier or?
Yeah, happier, I suppose, yeah.
I mean, clearly Max is happy as he is with his family because he's been with them the whole, we don't know anything about it, but I mean, if we knew what, if we could hear what Max did over the last 18 years, then we could say, but I don't think we have any way we can say, if he would be happier.